Good morning, students. Today we are going to understand ecosystem concept. The meaning of ecosystem consists both the living plants and animals and the non-living atmosphere, air, waters, mountain, and other physical components of environment that interact and function together, such as unit as called ecosystems. So basically, ecosystem is a combination of both living and non-living components of an environment. A pond, lake, rivers, ocean, forest, and deserts also considered as an ecosystem because it is also a part of living organism and it also affects the environment. There are some biotic and abiotic components in an environment. So all those living environment, that is called biotic environment, and all these that which is like air, water, that is called abiotic components of an environment. The study of ecosystem mainly consists of the systems, certain processes that link the living and biotic components of non-living and abiotic components. In ecosystem, basically we put all these things together in so far so that we can understand how that system operates as a whole. This means that rather than worrying mainly about the particular species, we try to focus on major functional aspects of the system. So here we need to understand the basic working and components of an ecosystem, that how this ecosystem works, how that ecosystem creates, what is the basic functions of these ecosystems. So these are basically the role of ecosystem which we need to understand. Ecological system or ecosystem is a kind of an open space built by physical and biological components of an environment. It is a result of an active interaction between living and non-living components. So basically it is a combination of living and non-living components. Ecosystem is where the community of plants, animals and their environment functions as a whole, and a relationship between organism and environments that thrives blissfully. So this is called basically meaning of an ecosystem. So now here we need to summarize this ecosystem, that the term ecosystem is basically an assemblage of organisms, that is called plants, animals and other living beings, also referred to as a biotic community, or the living together in a certain species with their environment, functioning as a loose unit. Now we are going to understand the components of an ecosystem. So ecosystem are composed of variety of abiotic and abiotic plant components that functions in an interrelated fashion. So some important components are like soil, atmosphere, radiations from the sun and water and living organism. Soil are much more complex than simple sediments. They contain a mixture of weather, rock fragmented, highly altered soils, minerals, organic matters. Soil provides nutrients and waters and a home and structural growing medium for an organism. So the vegetation found growing on a top of a soil is closely linked to this component of an ecosystem through a nutrient cycling. Now we talk about the atmosphere. So atmosphere provides an organism that found within an ecosystem with carbon dioxide for photosynthesis, oxygen for respiration, and the processes for evaporation and transpiration, and the last precipitation cycle, water between atmosphere and earth's surface. Now the solar radiation is also used in ecosystem to heat the atmosphere, to evaporate and transpire water into the atmosphere. Sunlight is also necessary for photosynthesis, and photosynthesis provides energy for plant growth and metabolism. Ecosystems are composed of a variety of living organisms that can be classified as producers, consumers, decomposers, producers, and autotrophs for organisms that manufacture the organizing compounds they use as a source of energy and nutrients. This is a basic relationship within an ecosystem. So there is a sun that plants got an energy from the sun, photosynthesis. So from plant there is an atmosphere where O2 and CO2 and water release and used. Then there is a herbivorous and carnivorous, so they consumes plants and animals. There are some soil nutrients and water, so the plants require that soil nutrients, and there is some detritivores that decompose the things. So this is a relationship between ecosystem. There is an energy and matter flow in ecosystem. So many of the important relationships between living and organism and environment, which are controlled ultimately by the amount of available incoming energy received from Earth's surface. So the sun's energy allows plants to convert inorganic chemical into organic compounds. Now the living organism can use energy in basically two forms, radiations and fixed. Radiant energies exist in a form of electromagnetic energy such as light. Fixed energy is a potential chemical energy that found in organic substances. This energy can release in through respirations. This is called the components of an ecosystem. So basically there is some inputs and some outputs of an ecosystem, that decomposers also there. So thank you students.